seed, that would be the seed the devil planted here on earth, which would be none other than Cain. He would put enmity between the serpent seed and the woman's seed, that the serpent seed would bruise the heel of the woman's seed, and the woman's seed would bruise the head of the serpent. Of course, the heel was when Christ was nailed to the cross. The last half of that prophecy is yet to come to pass when we do in the head of Satan. That won't happen until the end of the millennium, of course. But how precious it is to know and understand how it was in the beginning. And now man has been run from the Garden of Eden. And let's pick it up, if we may, with chapter 4. And let's take some of the genealogies of the peoples. Chapter 4 and verse 1, and it reads with that word of wisdom from our Father. And Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain, and said, I have gotten a man from the Lord. Ish it Yahweh. Now, of course, she's innocent. She has no idea. But now, we know that she did conceive from Adam, but watch this closely, verse 2. And she again bare his brother Abel, and Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. Now, there is one word that we need to analyze in that particular verse, because what does it mean, and again she bare? Let's call up the Hebrew word for again. It's yasaf. It's a primitive root, and it's to add or augment, often abbreviated, to continue to do a thing. That's good enough, to continue to do a thing. If she's giving birth to Cain, and she continues giving birth, what does that mean? They're twins. She is giving birth to twins, not identical twins, but paternal twins. And if you don't understand those terminologies, you check with your doctor. He can straighten you out on it. But certainly we have two brothers. One is the keeper of sheep, that's symbolic of our people, and the other is the tiller of the soil. Verse 3 as we continue. And in process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Lord. Now, it didn't say he brought first fruits. It didn't say he brought the very best. It simply says he brought some fruit. Verse 4, and Abel, he also brought of the firstlings. I mean, this is top of the line. Of his flock, and of the fat thereof, and the Lord had respect unto Abel and to his offering.
Hi, YouTube. I wanted to start, the Lord actually wanted me to speak on my seed of Cain, and how it came to pass that I actually had within me, in my DNA, the seed of Cain. And I wanted to verify it, and I was trying to looking up in my Bible, but I'm not that great of a genealogist. When I look at it, I get overwhelmed. So I thought, well, I'll just let Pastor Murray say it for me. The seed of Cain is alive and well, and I'm here to testify that I actually had the seed of Cain in me. Okay. And I'm going to explain it, and please pardon my drawings. I wish I could have my daughter draw for me, but I'm going to, I hope you can see it, so I can explain a little bit. I had a German grandmother and a Khazarian grandfather, okay? His parents were of the seed of Cain. They were both Khazarians, okay? They both died of blood conditions under the premise that they inbreed a lot, okay? This is Rothschild blood. So they inbreed with one another, and they die often from blood conditions, from bleeding to death, because they inbreed too much. So both great-grandparents died of blood conditions, of actually hemorrhaging to death. My grandfather Khazarian, pure blood, met my German grandmother at a lawsuit. My Mexican great-grandfather and my my German, pure-blooded German grandmother were suing the Khazarian Jews for land. My grandmother and my grandfather met, had an intimate relationship at a very young age, and my grandmother got pregnant with my mom. My Khazarian great-grandparents told my grandfather that if he married the German grandmother, they would disown him and he would not have any money. That the riches that they had, of course, would not be his. So he abandoned my grandmother, and my grandmother fled with a Mexican man to a little town and had my mother. When she contacted the Khazarian grandfather, she told him that my mother died at birth. My Khazarian grandfather flew around the world, and he often stopped in to visit with my grandmother's brothers, that would be my great uncles. And one of them was always drinking, and he slipped up that my mother was actually alive. So he found my mother when my mother was married with children. And so there you have my bloodline directly linked to the seed of Cain, the Khazars. And the Lord wanted me to talk on it, and he wanted me to explain what it means, what it can mean before you are washed in the blood of the Savior and saved from it. There were perversions that went on. Now, when you have children, okay, this is how he revealed it to me. When you have children and they're playing doctor, we like to look at it, the psychiatrists and other scholars will tell you to ignore it, to not make a big deal of it, and to act like nothing's happening so that they will continue on and not feel shame. But I'm here to tell you that I was the provoker of these events when I was little, okay? I truly believe, and the Savior has verified this, that had I not been around, that these things would have never come to materialize within our sessions of play, okay? It didn't happen all the time, but I would be provoked to provoke these things, to start them, to ignite them, per se. And I'm talking about playing doctor, things of that nature. And one day, when I started to decide that we were going to do these things, there was a young, and I'm going to call her an Adamic, a daughter of Adam, stood up to me and she said, "No, we're not going to." My mom told me that if you started that stuff, that we don't have to do it. And I did. Just like a fallen one or like a coward, it stopped me right dead in my tracks. But it made me realize there's something different about me. And it wasn't special. It wasn't special at all. But I never put it together until I started coming to light last year, okay? It would be put away in the darkness because there was no raising of us by the seed of Cain, okay? Because they abandoned my mother. So a Christian Catholic, which, that's not much better, but still the Catholics raised my mom in a very poor environment. And so that seed never blossomed, per se. But, and I already know that they don't want me talking about this, the fallen ones, but the Lord will prevail on this. So, what happened was, that seed, that tear, was very much alive and well in me. but it would be pushed to the back because of the shame factor of being a Catholic. You see, so the shame is not any better than the actual tear itself, but it would be put away, and I could control it through shame. I could make it, how could you say, kind of snuff it out. When I started using in my later years after my parents died, this opened a door for that, and the perversion started happening worse because of the free access to porn and all that stuff. So for the faint of heart, you probably don't want to listen to this. So anyway, that started desensitizing. It started desensitizing me, and it started provoking more and more perversions from me when I would use. And then the shame would take over, and I would snuff it out. And my sister, she would absolutely probably deny any of this. She would probably even deny I've seen her with my own eyes deny that we have this grandfather. Okay, but this grandfather, because the Lord has revealed to me this is in fact true, everything about the seed of Cain is true. The tear, the wheat and the tares growing together, and he wanted me to verify it to my brothers and sisters that I actually had that seed of Cain. Well, when I started coming to the light, because being of the tree of good and evil, it doesn't do much to hinder, since Satan is about the tree of good and evil, the knowledge, the tree of good and evil. He's about both. So until I started coming to the light, the only way that it would snuff itself out was through shame and through guilt. And when I started coming to the light, and I started realizing these things were actually true, the Lord told me to watch Zen Garcia, okay, on my days that I would fast. I would fast every Saturday for months. I was fasting every Saturday and trying to stay close to the Word. You have to be close to the Word. You must be close to the Word when you fast. I cannot stress that enough. But I would ask him, what do I do? Because I can't just sit here and just read the Word when it's not really absorbing in me yet, because I was new to the whole truth thing. So he told me to start watching Zen Garcia, specifically the episodes that he has on YouTube about the seed of Cain. And since the Lord was having me do this, then I knew that this stuff was very true. And then now Pastor Arnold Murray, he talks about it all the time. He talked about it all the time, and they try to debunk it. But because he's bringing it straight out of the Bible, and he's telling you that Cain got dropped out of the genealogy line in the Bible, it's very clear. I mean, you can't get it any more clear than that. And when Jesus in Matthew takes on the Pharisees, that's my family right there, see? So do you see it's like an oxymoron almost. So when I came to realize that this was actually ingrained in my DNA, I asked the Lord. I went before the Lord and I asked him if he could actually extract it, okay? And he did. He actually he told me he was having Uriel extract the seed of Cain from my DNA, so that when I would make videos later on, and I didn't know I was going to make videos, but when I started to make videos, there would be no hypocrisy involved, okay? And he wanted me to verify this. My grandfather was never in the same place in the world. He had a private jet and a private pilot. And they would fly him from one Khazarian rich elite family to another. He was a courier. Now, he didn't tell my mom that. He told my mom when he would call her from different parts of the world that he was in the Jewish mafia. That's how he explained it to her. And so that's neither here nor there. He was blown up in his private jet flying back from Israel, from occupied territory. And he would go there, he would tell my mom, to visit my great-grandparents' graves. They both died, like I said, of blood conditions. And so they were really high up there in the Rothschild line. They did not have Rothschild last names. They don't do that. They don't give all their offspring Rothschild last names. But he had a very Jewish last name, and it has not come to light what his last name is yet. But that's neither here nor there either. He just wanted me to talk on that, and I hope this can bring light to some people. If you have any questions, feel free to post them in the comment line, in the comment section, or I'd be more than happy to answer any questions because I don't know what I'm leaving out. But he wanted me to let people know that it is very, very, very real. It is a very honest perversion that the fallen ones actually, he said, were very angered at my request to have the seed of Cain DNA removed from my bloodline. And all praise and glory to his name. And thanks for listening. Bye.